All right, boys and girls, here's a very simple video on some of the computer basics, the basic computer skills that you're going to need to be successful in any of my classes. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. The first thing we need to do is we need to know how to find the programs we're going to use. We need to be able to easily find 4 different programs that we're going to be using quite frequently in this class. The easiest way to find things is through the Start menu, which here in the bottom left-hand corner. You can just click on that fella, and you can see I don't have anything here, but I need to be able to find 4 different programs. The first one is computer, and that one's easy. That's always right here. You can always go to Start menu, click on computer, and this is basically just where we find things on our computer. Everything in our computer is somewhere inside all of these folders right here. So that's one of them. I'm going to leave that one open. The other one is Chrome. Chrome is an internet browser, and it's the one I suggest you use in this class. It's the one that I will be using in any videos or tutorials that I make, so I suggest you use Chrome. I highly discourage you from using Internet Explorer. If for some reason you just don't like Chrome, at least use Mozilla Firefox. If I see you using Internet Explorer, I will probably have to kick you out of the class immediately. So I typed in Chrome here into my search box at the bottom, Chrome, and these two came up, and they're both the same. I don't know why it's in here twice. So I'm going to just go ahead and click on Chrome. I'm going to leave that open as well. So now I've got computer open and Chrome open. We also use Adobe Bridge a lot, so I'm going to type in Bridge. And there it is. We're going to be using Adobe Bridge CS4. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that one to open that up. And we also use Photoshop a lot, so type that in. And we use Adobe Photoshop CS4. So I'm going to click on that one to open that. You can see if you look down here along the bottom of my taskbar, I have my 4 programs open. I just opened. I've got computer, I've got Chrome, I've got Bridge, and I've got Photoshop. Well, I would like for all 4 of these to always be here on the taskbar, even if they're closed. You can see if I close computer, it's no longer on the taskbar. Well, I want it to always be there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring computer back up, and I'm going to go through, I'm going to right-click on all 4 of these, so right click on it, and I'm going to choose pin this program to taskbar. And what that's going to do is that's going to make it so that it's always there even if I close it. So let me close computer again. You can see it's gone, but the button is still there, so anytime I want to open it, I just can click that and it will come right back up. So add all 4 of these items to your taskbar for easy access, and that will make life a lot easier later on. As long as we're here in computer, let's take a look at where everything we do is going to go in this class. You might be tempted when you turn in some photos or do some work in Photoshop to save it in your U drive, or even worse, you might think, oh, well, I'm supposed to put pictures right here, so I'm going to click here on pictures and I'm going to save my stuff in there. I cannot even begin to tell you how bad of an idea that is. Everything we do in this class is going to go right here in this vocational drive O. Everything we do in this class belongs in the O drive. Never save anything anywhere else other than the O drive. So to get there, we go to O drive, photo shared, Johnson, and then you find your period. And then you're going to make your own folder by clicking on New Folder and creating a folder that is last name, comma, first name. Now, we want to be able to easily access this folder whenever we want. And I think the easiest way to do that is to find your folder. So, for example, here's mine, Johnson, comma, Mr. I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to drag it over to the favorites here on the left-hand side. I'm going to find where I want it to go. I want it right here at the top. And see that black line right there? If that line is there, that means it's going to go in there. If you don't see that, like right now, all that's going to do is going to move that file. Well, I don't want that. I want it to show up here in my favorites bar. See, it even says create link in favorites right there. And that's what I want, so I can let go now. And now I've got that there. Anytime I want to, I can close computer. I can come back. If I want to go to my folder, boom, I just click on that, and I'm in O drive, photo share, Johnson, period 4. Johnson, comma, Mr. All right, as long as we're in here, let's talk about some other things that we need to do in here quite a bit. Before we do that, though, I need to explain something that is incredibly simple, and I'm sure that 95% of you know it, but some of you don't. So here's a picture of a mouse, and a mouse has two buttons that you can click. It has a button on the left that you can click, which is this one over here, and a button on the right, which you can click. If I say the words click, what I mean is click this side. That's just a given. If I say click, that means click. If I want you to click this one over here, I'll say right click. So click means click on the left-hand side. Right click means on the right-hand side. If I say something like click and drag, what that means is that I want you to click the left button and hold it down and drag the mouse over some things and then let go, and see I've just made a selection. This works in here. It works in Photoshop. For example, if I'm using the marquee tool and I say click and drag, what that means is I left click, I hold the button down, and I drag the mouse to create a square like that, and then I let go. So that's what click and drag means. Of course, click means just click with the left mouse and let go, and right click means click the right button, and you'll see some options pop up usually when you right click. I know that's very simple, but some people still struggle with it a little bit. Left click or click is click this button. Right click is this button. Click and drag means hold down this button, move the mouse, and then let go of the button. So let's go back here into my period 4 folder. What will happen a lot of times is that I will throw some files in here like clone stamp 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I want everyone in the class to work on them. But if we all open these 4 photos, that can cause trouble in the network. So what I'll often tell you to do is I'll tell you to copy and paste these 4 photos into your own folder. So I need to make sure you understand the difference between copy and cut. So I might put 4 photos in here and say, please copy clone stamp 1, 2, 3, and 4 into your own folder. Well, there's several different ways to select all 4 of these photos. I could hold down Control on my keyboard and click on each one of them. I could click on the very first one, hold down Shift on my keyboard, and click on the last one. Or I could come out here so that when I click, I'm not going to click on anything, and I could click and drag over all 4 of them. Notice click and drag won't work if I click on one of the photos when I start. You have to click where there's nothing and click and drag to select all 4 of them. There's lots of different ways to select files, but those are the 3 that I use the most. So now I want you to right click on one of these 4 that we selected and choose copy. Just be careful you don't choose cut. If I ask you to choose copy, make sure you choose copy. There will be times when you'll need to choose cut, so then in that case you would choose cut. But we would right click on copy, we would right click, choose copy, then we would come up to our own folder. If we were just going to put them in our folder, we could just right click on our folder and choose paste. Or what might happen is I might tell you to come in here and make a new folder. So click on the new folder button, call that clone stamp, and then you would right click on that and choose paste, and then those photos would go into that folder as well. So you can see I've got them right here because I pasted them here, but I've also got them here because I pasted them here. Because we chose copy, they still exist out here, but they also exist in my folder as well, which is exactly where I wanted them. So that is the difference between cut and copy. Most of the time I'll tell you to choose copy, but really all I care is that you choose whichever one I told you to choose. The last thing I want to show you is how to download an image off the internet. We're going to do that a handful of times in this class, and you need to be able to do it correctly. All right, again, I'm using Google Chrome for this. I feel like it's the easiest browser to use for this. I would recommend that it is what you use, as it will be slightly different if you are using Firefox. So here I am in Google, and I want to download a picture of the sun. So I'm going to type that in, and I don't want news or web search. I want a picture. So I'm going to click right here where it says images. You can see I'm getting a ton of pictures of the sun. Most of the time when we work on images in Photoshop, though, we don't want the small files that come off the internet. We want big files. We want large files. And there's a good reason for that I will explain later on in the class. But to make sure we're only seeing large files, what we're going to do is click on the top here where it says Search Tools. And we're going to come over here to Size and choose Large. 99% of the time that we download an image off the internet, that's what we're going to want to do first. So now, let's say we want to grab this image right here. I'm going to go ahead and just click on it. I'm going to watch this bar along the bottom, and I'm going to wait for that to finish. Okay, it's done. That means Google has loaded the image, and we're good to go. Now all I need to do is right-click on it and choose Save Image As. which is going to give us the option to download and save this image. So I'm going to choose Save Image As, and this box is going to pop up right here. Well, remember earlier when we added my folder to the favorites? Look, here it is right here, Johnson, Mister. If we did that right now, all I have to do is click on this, and boom, it's taken me right to my folder. I can give it a new name because that name doesn't make any sense. I call it the Sun. And don't, whatever this is, just leave that, don't change that, and then just hit save. And just like that, you've downloaded an image off the internet. All right, you guys, that's it. Those are some pretty simple things, pretty basics. If you know your way around computers, you probably already knew every single one of those things. If you didn't, hopefully you learned something. Those are all valuable tools that you're going to need to be able to use if you want to be successful in this class.